Mo, it was months ago that you told us a doctor took a look at you and said, oof.
That's pretty much exactly what happened.
No, it was not. But he really did tell you that you needed to change your diet and change your lifestyle. And why was that his recommendation right from the jump?
So there was some things I found out in speaking to my father one day that I didn't really know about the men on my father's side of the family and the history of it all. And so my father, my uncle, my grandfather, I believe, all had to have their valves replaced, which pumps the blood from the heart to the body and all of that stuff, because they get weak, and it's genetic. They can't truly figure out the science behind it, but it's been consistent. And so my father sat me down one day and told me that it was a big concern of his, and that it was going to come a point where I was going to have to truly pay attention to my diet and my health and all of the things that I was doing to my body, because he believed that him not taking care of himself to a certain degree was what led to him having to have the surgery so soon, and as well as my uncle, because they're still both fairly young. And so it became a concern for me. And the good thing about it is I knew about it a little sooner than they did in their journey, so I was kind of able to get ahead of it a little bit. But being young and naive, you think to yourself, I got a lot of time. This is not something that's probably going to bother me or concern me for the next 20 years of my life. And at the time, that's what I was thinking. Being in my late 20s, early 30s, I'm thinking I got plenty of time. So just to be sure, I ended up going to get just my annual physical or whatever. And the doctor told me, I told the doctor about what I'd found out. And so they did some research and some tests that I guess they wouldn't normally have done. And she basically was like, yeah, it's time. It's time for you to really start considering that this could happen. And you will, whether you want to accept it or not, you can accelerate the process if you keep pushing it off, thinking that you're young and you're good. So at that time, it was kind of more like a suggestion. It was like, now would be a good time, because I'm watching your blood pressure levels. I'm watching all these different things. And she keeps leaving and coming back in with more papers to read to me. And I'm starting to panic, because I'm like, this is getting ridiculous now. But she told me you should get ahead of it, and you got to cut out the drinking. You got to stop eating. I mean, because I eat what I want. That's always been one of my biggest issues. I've never been the kind of guy that's I'm gonna just I do it for 30 days. That's all I got. Day 31, I'm going to Popeyes. That's just the way that my life always pans out. So I've taken working out seriously, but I've always been the kind of dude that thinks because I work out, that's all I have to do, and it'll make up for all the other things I don't do.
And that's a really common belief in health, is so long as you're working out, you can pretty much eat what you want. But the truth of the matter is they both go hand in hand with each other. And in fact, some hardcore trainers will say, why even do one if you're not doing the other one correctly?
Exactly. And so that's constantly been my mentality, and I think it's finally caught up to me, because I started, so when I was going through the grieving my grandmother, I started feeling a whole bunch of feelings that I wasn't exactly sure what it was. I went and got a COVID test. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew something was wrong. My breathing was off. My heart was pumping extremely fast, and more than I'd ever felt, and it wouldn't stop. This was 3 days. I didn't know if I was having a panic attack, an anxiety attack. It was so many different things. I tried to WebMD myself, and then I realized I'm not a doctor. Mo, you need to go talk to an actual doctor. And that's what I did. And so when I went, she came back in, and me being naive and thinking I can lie to the doctor and say, yeah, I've been doing everything you told me to do. But I knew I hadn't. And I knew I'd been drinking more than I normally would have, because I was grieving my grandmother. And I stopped. I completely just stopped caring for a minute. And it wasn't long. It was probably a week where I just went outside of my normal routine and my normal habits to deal with what I was facing. And she knew immediately. She's like, dude, your levels are through the roof. I can tell that you haven't been doing the things that I've asked you to do. And I'd learned that I was pre-diabetic and a few other things that I was not aware that these things would even ever be an issue for me. But she was a lot more stern and a lot more serious this trip around, to the point where she's like, you're gonna have to constantly come in and get checkups. We're gonna have to keep evaluating you. We're gonna have to keep it close, because they don't want me to go through it. They don't want me to get to the point where it's too late and then I have to go in and get the surgery. So she pretty much told me straight up, It's now or never. Like it's completely up to you, and it's been lenient for a long time now, and it's just, I guess it's run its course. It's to the point now where she's like, you need to think about every drink you take. Ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth taking years off your life? You need to think about the food that you're putting in your body. You keep eating these fried foods and you keep eating whatever you want, thinking that you got time, and because you're working out, it's going to become an issue for you, and it's going to become an issue fast. And it hit me because I had never had a doctor be so stern with me before. You know, I think I've developed a rapport with her to where she cares, and she's like, you're not listening to me and you're playing with your life and it's not funny, and the joke stopped working. So I knew it was a problem.
I never listened more intently to life than when somebody close to me passes away. You know, you and I have had these talks before. The finality of it. I mean, it sounds stupid to say, but the fact that that's it. You can't call them anymore. You can't text them anymore, man. The memories that you have are what you are left with, and that is it. Maybe this info for you couldn't have come at a better time, because the reality of passing is right in front of you right now, man, and you realize how valuable life is.
It's true. There's no wake-up call like that. Like, you can't. There's no other way to get that. And on top of that, for some reason, I just kept hearing these stories about, like, people losing their children or whomever, their kids, and people being in their 30s and their 40s, like, really young. And, like, you think in your mind, I'm so young that I got time, I'm cool. And it really hit me. You don't have time. Like, today is the day. If I really want to start thinking about my future and being here for as long as I possibly can, it's no longer, I'm gonna do this. I have to do this now. So there's no longer a choice. My lifestyle has to change today, and I've started, and there's no other way. And it's tough, but you just kind of in the back of your mind keep reminding yourself what you're fighting for.
It literally is the most important thing you do every day, is eat, and eating properly, and then there's sleep, but eating. So it always amazes me that our education system doesn't put more of an emphasis on exactly what you're supposed to eat, how you're supposed to eat, how to lose weight, what's a healthy weight. We're not really taught those things. So many times when we're talking about health on the air, or we're talking about losing weight, and I think people know I go to the gym and I'm pretty health conscious, they don't even have any idea where to start. They don't know a good carb from a bad carb, and it's a real problem in this country, man, that we're trying to learn how to eat correctly when we're in our 30s, right?
Right. I had no clue, and I was shocked to how much, like, I didn't truly know about eating and eating right, and about, like, what you should put in your body and what it can do. I mean, pretty much everything that I was putting in my body was bad for me, as they say. And it's like I really didn't know how much on the scale I was, like, to doing the wrong things every single day, because again, you're just young and you're just doing what you know, but you don't truly, like, once you start really doing the research and understanding the way things are processed and put into your body, you realize, like, yeah, I need to make a change, and I can no longer be the guy who says I'm going to do it. I'm doing it now. It has to happen in the present, and my entire life has been changed within the last month.
Well, the good news is the internet isn't only for going to the shade room and stuff like that.
I've discovered that.
There really are great websites for beginning health and nutrition. Like, if you can afford it, hiring a nutritionist is the best way to go, but sometimes it gets pretty expensive. But it's all out on the internet, man. It's right there for you to learn how. And it, like you said, you don't have to wait till tomorrow, because life is not waiting for you, you know?
That's a fact. And I'm doing all of the things, and I have given up a lot of, like, chicken and stuff like that, but I'm not giving up the comments on the shade room. I know that's not good for me either, but I'm sorry. I gotta live with it.
I don't know if that's going to raise your cholesterol level, but I think you're safe there at the shade room. All right.
Get it? The Bert Show.